Hey, welcome back to another video. So it is your lifestyle is Kay. And I just want to have a transparent moment really quickly as we continue on this 30 days of you. And just to kind of give you a backstory about me, how I even got to this point of wanting to truly help women see their worthiness, right? So I talk a lot about, just understanding who you are, trying to get to that point where you can be confident enough to know that you deserve what it is that you desire. Don't allow someone to come into your life and make you feel less than what you know that you are. And so for me, where that comes from is that I married two narcissistic men. Why it took me twice to learn the lesson, I don't know. But it was a lot of beating myself up about it because I'm like, I know better than this. This is just, what is this? And I hate to see so many people go through what I experienced, right? Because if you've ever been in a relationship with a narcissistic person, you know that it weighs on you, number one, and it's a lot of demeaning, it's a lot of mistreatment in different capacities. What I take from that isn't a why did this have to happen to me or why. It's more or less what did I need to learn from this so I will not repeat this again. So I'm hoping that you guys share this with someone who might be in a narcissistic relationship or think that they might be in a narcissistic relationship because in reality it does not get better unless they are aware that this is who they are. And as we shed light more and more on the fact that a lot more men are narcissistic than women, that's the statistics, sorry. Um, as we shed more light to it, I know a lot of people are like, oh, that word is overused and da, da, da. It's overused because it was underused for so long. Women before us have experienced this, men as well. So now that we are aware of what this is and we can point out the characteristics of it and now make a decision on leaving or staying and not allowing someone to dictate our worthiness based on their internal trauma, we become more aware of it and we can move differently. And so the things that I took from being in a relationship with narcissism, just more than a relationship, I married these people. I married them. And for me, I'm such a giver and a helper, and I'm I'm an empath, so I just automatically I'm like, what can I do to help? But I have to realize that, of course, we can't help everyone. That's one thing I took from it. Everyone doesn't want help. Everyone can't overcome their internal traumas, and not because they can't, it's because they don't want to. A lot of people hide their internal traumas as well, and they'll continue to go from relationship to relationship to relationship hiding it and blaming everyone else but themselves. So, what I learned was to love yourself more than anything. And it's not selfish, it's, it's helpful, right? Because when you love yourself more than anything, you know when you're being mishandled, you know when you're being mistreated, and you can then stand up for yourself. There's no second guessing. There's no, well, what if this person is right? It will be more or less, okay, let's have a conversation for face value, a true conversation, and really determine what you're seeing that I might not be seeing so we can come to an understanding, right? And most of the time, when you're in a relationship with someone that's toxic, they don't want to have the truthful conversations. They don't want to have the truthful conversations because guess what? They know that everything that they're saying about you is more geared towards them, but they're pushing on their narrative onto you. Never stay longer than you need to. That's another thing that I learned. The first sign of a red flag or I wouldn't even say a red flag, the first sign of a non negotiable of yours, it's time to have a discussion and determine if it's time to leave or not. Don't stay for continuous and continuous and continuous disrespect, disloyalty, cheating. Don't stay if it is tearing you down. And one thing that I've come to understand is that you're not weak if you leave, and you're not weak if you stay. You're doing what needs to be done in order for you to move the way that you need to move. I would say you're only weak when you are not honest with yourself. So we have to come to an understanding that your worth is more than what they're failing to realize about themselves. I hope you understand that. And understanding that life only gets better when you release the toxicity out of your life, that toxic person that's caused wreaking havoc on your well being, on your mental, on your physical, on your spiritual self. Once you release that, of course, there's healing that has to come with that, but life just gets so much better. And you will see yourself in such a higher state of being. There's clarity there. And narcissism comes in different forms. It can come in the form of a mother, a father, a relative, right? A close friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, coworkers. You see these traits in different people. It's just not relationship wise. So remember that. When you've gone through multiple toxic relationships, you realize that, okay, what is it within me that, number one, because we attract all types of people. So not necessarily what is it in me that attracts them, but what is it in me that moves past the attraction and go into a full relationship. And I realize that I'm just a person who can see the hurt in someone because of my empathiness, because of my spirituality. I'm like, no, we can help. I can help. This is blah blah blah. Especially depending on how a person leads, right? Somebody can play on the softer side of you, and you have to be mentally aware enough to know that, okay, this person could be lying, because we only know what people tell us, but we do have that intuitive knowing. So utilize it. So I had to do some really deep diving. It's not about them, because people are going to be who they are. You can't change anyone but yourself. So I personally knew that, okay, I got to change some things, because this is not going to work. I do not want to experience this again. I'm not going to do it. So that's when I decided to put myself first, to make sure that I say no when no is needed, that I stand on business with my standards and boundaries. I had to make them stricter because, I was letting people through because I was feeling sorry for a person, or really want. It's like, yo, everything that you want to give to someone else, give to yourself. And most recently, I was talking to someone, and there was times when I would say, no, I'm not doing that. And I would notice how they responded or didn't respond to my no. I realized that if you're not a safe space for me to just be me, for me to say no, then you're probably not a safe space in any other capacity for me. You have to know when someone is a safe space for you to be you. You shouldn't be afraid to say no. You shouldn't be timid or walking on eggshells when it comes to people that are in your life. So be aware of that. So these are just a few things that I learned from my experience of dating, marrying people with narcissistic personality disorder. And now, were these people diagnosed from a doctor? Of course not. Because most of the time, if you know a narcissist, not, nothing is wrong with them, but the traits that they exuded um, during the tenure of our relationship. That's exactly what it was. And I'll stand on it, 10 toes down. So remember that you are the prize, and we all have something to learn. So if you're experiencing this or know someone who is experiencing this, just know that you deserve much more than what they are giving you or not giving you. And the things that they have, pushed upon you more than likely is not true. And you're worth so much more. And you will be less stressed once you release that toxicity, that toxic behavior that's wreaking havoc in your life. You deserve so much more. So if you made it this far, comment below if you've experienced a narcissistic relationship, and give a few things that you learned about yourself during that time. Not necessarily because it's not about the narc. The narc is going to narc. That's what they do. What did you learn? How did you come out on top? How did you heal from it? Because, of course, once you release that, there's a healing process that happens. So I want to know down in the comments below. Let's have a conversation. Talk to you later.